How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Just Elfin Die. This is from 2019, and it's a short horror film about 7 minutes, and you can find it on YouTube and watch it right now. At the end of the video, I'll put the link to it up there, so if you want to watch it, you can go ahead and see it right there. But anyway, Just Elfin Die, short film, Elfin Die from 2019, and is directed by me. Yeah, so much for an unbiased review right there. Yeah, I actually, directed a short horror Christmas film myself, and I figured I want to talk about it. I want to, say what it was like making it, what I thought of the movie, but, just some quick thoughts on it. I love movies and I want to make more stuff, and this is the first significant thing I ever really directed. So yeah, I'm hoping to do more soon. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about what this thing's about. You get this mom and dad. They're leaving to go on a date, and they have 2 kids that are just old enough to be left alone by themselves. And before they leave, the dad tells them, hey, don't misbehave because Santa's little helper, his elf, is going to be watching you, which leads to this guy right here. This little elf toy. You know how parents will say that. But he says this elf will be watching you. It's something the daughter's scared of. And he says, don't misbehave. Don't sneak any looks at your presents to see what you're going to get. The parents leave. The older brother goes upstairs and leaves the younger daughter alone. And she thinks, hey, I'm alone. I should really just take a look and see what I'm going to get for Christmas. She sneaks a peek at her presents, and the evil elf sees that and leaps into action. You are not allowed to do that, so the elf is going to come after you, and it all leads to a funny, chase scene with any little gag I could think of, and that's it. It's about having fun and getting into wacky elf antics. Like I said, I wanted to make movies for a while. I made this this elf as kind of a gag. My dad was going to be in an ugly sweater contest for Christmas one year, and I made this, and we had where it was like the devil and the angel on your shoulder. We had an actual elf on the shelf on one side, and then the evil elf on the other side. It was originally going to be where he burst out of the sweater's chest like Alien, but we couldn't figure out how to rig that up in time. But yeah, it was a sort of devil and angel on your shoulder type thing, but when he was on the stage, it was far enough away from everybody, and he didn't stand out that well from such a distance, so didn't win, unfortunately, but we both really liked the prop and wanted to do something with it, and my dad actually opened up his house for filming this short. He really pushed for it and wanted to do it. So over the course of a year, actually, it took a while, not consistently shooting, just basically, whenever we had a little bit of free time, like say on a weekend or something, I would go and shoot just a little piece at a time. The elf wasn't meant to be a puppet, so there's no like stiff joints or ways to move it really easy. And when we were filming it, it was all about trying to figure out how to do some effect or another. There's one scene where he like jumps directly at the camera, and we couldn't figure that out. We were like, do we throw him at the camera or what? We eventually found if we held him by the lens and then dropped him and then reversed it, that was the best way to get him to lunge at the camera. But there were other little things like, there's one shot where the elf is holding some money, should be an easy shot, right? But man, trying to get that to look natural, to stay in his hand, that was a whole little evening of shooting all by itself, just trying to get the elf to hold on to his money. That was one thing. But I ended up looking at, I mean, an obvious inspiration for this movie was Trilogy of Terror. And I look at Trilogy of Terror and Puppet Master, and I'm watching all these movies with puppets in them and seeing what they did, and you can really look and see their clever little shots, But I came up with all these wacky gags for the elf, and when you're shooting special effects stuff, it does take a lot of time, but I really am, in retrospect, glad that the elf was in there so much, because you don't need an actor for the elf. You have him, and you spend some time just doing a fun prop, which it does take more time than a human actor, but he's always available. That was the hardest part with doing this short, is finding people that we knew that would do it for a favor, because this was, really made with no money. Finding people that would do it for a favor and could show up and actually wanted to. In turn, you get where every group of people is shot on their own day. The parents and the kids, you'll notice that even though they're talking to each other, they're never in the same shot. That's because, we had the parent actors on the day that they could show up, and then we had the kid actors on another day. So unless they're in the same shot, those actors are probably not in the same room, and that goes for, like, there's a pizza boy character, never meant any of the other cast either. But the kids, man, when we did finally get them, they were good actors, and it's good to have them. But finding people, that had kids, and then finding kids that wanted to act, I mean, it was hard, looking through a lot of people my parents knew, because, I didn't know anyone with kids, and you can't really just, approach someone and be like, hey, can you do this? It seems awkward. And yeah, trying to find a friend or family member with kids and looking through all that was just really hard to find them. And that was the biggest challenge. That was one of the things that took, the most time, is finding these actors, especially the child actors. And the little girl in this movie, Billy, her and her brother came over to do this part, but we only had him for one day, and we had been shooting this movie at such a leisurely pace, and then when we found out that our lead actor, who's in about half the movie, we only have her for one day, it was running and scrambling to get all the shots that we needed, and I would wind up either cutting or merging any little shot that we didn't really need, so I had in the storyboard, like, a shot, and then, like, say, another shot to cut to. I'm like, if these can be in the same shot, if I can merge them down, we can even put in the cut afterwards in post. Any little thing. That day, we shot as long as we could, and we were running and getting as much done. It was a really hard day of shooting, but, I like to thank the actors. We got everything we needed in one day, and, probably would have been easier, but we were very inexperienced, But yeah, I got that to work out. But you do see mistakes, kind of in regards to that. It was one day, so things did slip through the cracks. There's a few parts where, like, say, the lighting apparatuses were super noticeable. If you look out the window and see daylight, that is super inconsistent. It's supposed to get dark pretty early in the movie, but then lights will show up, be like, hey, that one shot, it's sunny. There's a chair in the movie that is in one shot or two shots by the Christmas tree, and then that chair just disappears. I don't even know why it got moved on set. It's gone. One of the big things, though, is we have my parents. We have a dog, an old dog, and it's good luck getting her to move, so we had to set up tables to prevent her from wandering into the shot and just laying there, and we couldn't keep her outside forever because then she'd start barking. So it was a case of, you know, sometimes in the background you'd see the table to prevent the dog from wandering into the shot. And there is one scene where we couldn't move her, so we put a pillow in front of her to kind of block your view. But if you look really closely, I think you can see a little bit of her poking out from behind that. But it was fun despite the mistakes. You know, I had learned that Evil Dead was in large part inspired by the Three Stooges, and when I was writing the script, I did it in, you know, storyboard fashion first, and I was making it like a cartoon, and I was trying to think what fun, wacky cartoon things could I do, and it was all about the gags whenever I was writing it, and I had a lot of fun, and I'm really glad I made it. I want to do more. Of course, we finished this in 2019, right around Christmas, and we were going to shoot something else, but, you know, guess what happened? 2020, so yeah, I have not gotten a chance to do shooting because everybody's been locked in their houses, but I have had a chance to get some writing done, and I do have another script, so I hope to make that into something when the world goes a little less crazy, so hopefully more coming soon. But anyway, it was something I was really glad to make, and you know, it does have its flaws, but it's something that I can watch, and I can watch over and over again, and it's something I had a lot of fun with, so I'm glad I made it. Anyway, if you guys want to watch the movie, it should pop up here in a minute. To everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. I'm doing Christmas movie reviews all October, so if that sounds interesting, I review like 95% horror movies on this channel, so most of those Christmas movies are going to be scary Christmas movies. But anyway, at the end of the video, Christmas playlist there, and if you want to watch Just Elfin Die, will be up here. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. See y'all next time.